It's on. Nili versus Vivi. One of the best tournament performances of Vivi so far. Nili so far. In the last 2 years, I've been seeing Nili play Britons for Nili in Arabia versus Ethiopians for Vivi on Arabia. And, excuse me, Britons? Many people would have said that Britons will go for Habub, so this is a kind of a surprise. And I am not necessarily a big fan of Britons over here. So the thing is that Empire Wars and Red Bull Arabias are usually quite open. I think these scripts are a little bit more closed than it used to be in Red Bull Wololo 2. But I remember that basically the King of Desert Arabia was an even more open version of the Red Bull Arabia. But Red Bull Arabia is usually more open than standard generations. And you could see that in King of the Desert, Britons were awful because the map is so open that the lack of mobility could actually hurt you so much. You need delay. The thing is that I don't need delay myself, but the game is working just like that. So this is going to be an interesting decision from Nili. The main problem is that Britons are lacking thumb ring, so no matter what, Ethiopians' rate of fire is going to be better. So unless Nili has an insane micro using that extra range in Castle Age with those crossbows, this is going to be tough. This is like very tough for Nili, I would say. Wouldn't be surprised to see a heavy skirmisher focus from Nili, but we'll see what he has on his mind. He's gonna have faster working ranges, so this might end up being a very aggressive play from him early on, because he could try to get an upper hand in terms of early archer numbers and try pushing Vivi Zico. But here it is. Nili versus the Fat Dragon. A best of 7 in between these two players. We're gonna have Nili on the right side. I will actually enable the scoreboard for this. It's a best of 7. And right side is Nili as Britons in yellow, which is, I think, a questionable civ selection here. Left side, Ethiopians is fairly standard for Vivi. But we shouldn't forget one thing. Nili's civ selection is questionable. However, he probably expected Ethiopians to be picked on Arabia. So he probably knows what's up. And I think that he might be trying to use Britons as a counterpick to Ethiopians. We'll see if it actually works out. Let's see if he's opening directly skirms. He could definitely open skirms first, but he's opening archers. And in this case, the plan is that he's going to try to push with archers. And here's the surprise from Vivi. Vivi is opening scouts. It's going to be a scout and skirm play from Vivi. Now, you could say, why? Ethiopians with scouts? Oftentimes, in Empire Wars, you try to surprise your opponent with such a play. So, we have seen in Red Bull Wololo 2, like, Briton scouts, Viking scouts as well. Nili shouldn't lose that villager over there, but Vivi is actually doing a nice job blocking, and that is going to be one dead villager for Nili. Or, yeah, it's gonna be one dead villager. At least the scout takes quite a lot of damage, but for a moment it seemed like Nili is going to save that will. Nili sees the stable, so he knows exactly scouts are coming, so he's gonna try to wall himself up, go for defensive spearman. He is going to be fully walled very soon, but this villager is once again exposed, and Vivi is going to take that spearman out, so this should be a wall. The thing is that if Nili is... What is this villager doing? Lady? Lady? I understand you're angry, but this might be a bit too much. Okay. So, if Nili is fully walled, the scouts won't do much, but Nili apparently is getting housed, so... in the first few moments, it seems like nerves are getting to Nili here, because he's heavily housed, and I don't necessarily think he expected the scouts play from Vivi. Now, obviously, Vivi can switch back into archers, and indeed he is going to do so, but we will probably play knights as well, so he can deal with the early skirms. Anyways, this is still open for the Nili over here. He could wall this one off, but I think those scouts will just run inside here. Yeah, Nili is going to go for the more conservative walls, but this is not going to protect his gold from the archers that are coming. Nili, 4 villagers queued up over here, so definitely a little bit nervous still against Vivi, which is surprising because, as I said, I feel like Vivi isn't necessarily a stronger opponent than Lix is. I think it's more about the fact that he knows what's at stake here. And against Lix, he won Arabia, which was a huge thing. Really unsure about the Briton selection here for now, so we'll see what Nili has on his mind. But yes, if he walls this one off, he's gonna have a nice little corner. In fact, he actually had double layer walls here. That's like a what type of scenario here. This wood line is gonna be bye-bye. However, this wood line is going to be very good for Nili. He also has a wood line here at the back he can use. but he needs to make sure that he holds this one. I think the key is to camp this hill, because that would give you an advantage over these archers, and then you can just finish those walls before Vivi's archers arrive. Vivi's got much better numbers here. No upgrades on those scouts, so Nili might be able to fight this one, but this is going to be a big sacrifice made just to get those walls up. Oh boy, this isn't looking good for Nili. He opens the gate for the spearmen. Not necessarily a fan of that. I don't think that was needed. Nili, what he can try to do is now try to pick off the scouts and make sure that he doesn't lose his archers. In the process, there is also some skirms coming in here for Vivi. Vivi is going for an aggressive play here. Nili is piling up a lot of food, so I assume he's trying to get to Castle Age, but he can't afford to let those scouts into his eco here. I am really unsure about Nili's Civ selection here. As much as I was praising his gameplay against Lix and how he actually played smart and went for good strategies, this is a little bit questionable from Nili here. Maybe he didn't expect Ethiopians, I'm not sure, but here Britons are clearly inferior to Ethiopians in basically the majority of the aspects, or aspects of the game. Anyways, archers cleaning up the scouts here for now, but Nili's gold mine is gone. This might be a game over here. Oh boy. That's so bad. I'm not sure what Nili's plan was. I'm honestly not sure. But this is looking pretty bad here for him. And he doesn't seem to have a backup gold mine either. So this is gotta be skirms or GG. This is a bit of a disappointment, to be honest. Game number 1 in the hands of Vivi. I don't know what Nili was trying to do. Maybe he didn't expect Ethiopians, but Ethiopians was fairly straightforward for Vivi as a Civ selection for Arabia. And Britons is just not a good Civ for Empire Wars Arabia. Why? Overall, Empire Wars Britons aren't that amazing, but the only place where you could actually make an argument for Britons is Habub. Because on Habub, you can actually benefit from faster working ranges by being very aggressive at the beginning. Here, faster working ranges don't really matter because you still have to walk through the map. Feels bad for Nili. That wasn't even close. I said 4-3 for Nili, and I'm still believing that if he actually plays to his full potential, and if he plays against Vivi like he did against Lix, he's gonna have a good shot. But this game was quite bad, to be honest. That was just quite bad. And the thing is that I saw the nerves on Nili. That was totally visible. The last time I saw this much nerves on a high-level player, I think it was when Nikov was playing on Wings in Red Bull Wololo 2, and he had like 15 egos queued up on one barracks. Like, that was the last time I saw this much nerves on a player. But it is what it is. The stakes are high, so it's understandable that Nili is, well, a little bit nervous. But he needs to calm down and now focus on winning his own home maps, because, let's be honest, if I actually had to predict who wins Arabia, I'd probably give Vivi the Arabia game, because Vivi is an Arabia player. Nili is much more reasonable on those specialized, unique maps. So Nili's first home map is going to be either Cattails, Lowland, Rockslide. I think Nili is very strong on Cattails, so I would say that he would actually go for that. Because you need to get your confidence back, and you need to make sure that you don't fall behind by 2 games. You don't want to be down by 2 games, and Cattails is by far the best map for Nili, so it makes a huge amount of sense to just go for that. Does Vivi ever play on hybrid or water? Rarely. He played in ECL, so it's not like he's never playing water maps, but he doesn't really play a lot. He also plays Big Nomad with other high-level players as well. So technically, Vivi is not super bad on water, but he's definitely not a water player, and that's a map where Nili could actually carve out an advantage. It started? Yeah, it's going to take a few seconds until it actually shows up. And also, there is 2 minutes spec delay on the games. So here it is. Cattails. As you see, we are gonna have cattails coming in here in just 30 seconds. And here's the melee from Vivi. Byzantines for Nili is something that Jordan used here. Byzantines is something that Nili used here against Lix, but I still don't think that it's a great strategy. I'm just not a big fan of that, that's it. Anyways, when you're playing melee on this matchup, what you have to capitalize on is a better castle age time. Because you will probably click up at the same time as Byzantines do, but you will have a better castle age time. So you're counting on winning water in early castle age. Nili is going to be playing yellow Byzantines on the left side. Right side is going to be melee for Vivi in red. And both players will be going fire galleys, which seems weird because it seemed like the meta is actually going to be the galley micro here because of all these obstacles, but it seems like we're gonna have a Byzantine fire galley play versus a Malay fire galley play. Byzantine fire galleys will clap Malay fire galleys. Cattails is a Baltic in disguise. That's partially through Warrion. There is a difference, and that's the plants over here and the rocks that are blocking movement. That's the main difference between Cattails and Baltic, and I think that actually makes this map a lot more viable and a lot more reasonable. Credits to Crazini for actually thinking about this, because this is a very, very smart way to actually potentially nerf the water meta a little bit, because galleys are a lot more reasonable on this map than they are on open water. Let's see if Nili is actually gonna get a villager kill here. He's very aggressive with that scout, so is Vivi. Nili was his villager in for a time being, so he's gonna be fine. And is he gonna find a villager kill? He could, and remember that he's got better fire galleys over here. Vivi's gonna pull the boys and girls, so this is not going to be a villager kill, but some idle time. And Nili going for triple docks over here, so he wants to go full-on fire galley mode, and it seems like it's working. Vivi trying to repair that fire galley, but that's not gonna happen. And at the end of the day, Nili could use that fire ship or fire galley to actually just push away that scout over there. For now, military numbers are relatively even. Nili is doing a decent job scouting around his opponent's base. Vivi also trying to look for that villager that could be an instance where that villager gets killed. I think Vivi is waiting for the opportunity. So far, both players have their 4 fishing ships alive, and Vivi is gonna go for the third dock here as well. What's the cost difference between galley and fires? Fires are more expensive, I think. I don't have the exact numbers in my mind. Anyways, that's an interesting villager kill attempt from Vivi over there. That's a low HP Vil. I think Vivi will try to get back to that and kill it, but that didn't succeed for the time being. Military numbers are fairly even, 5 fire galleys to 4, but remember that Nili's fire galleys are much better, so I think that Vivi will need some demo help here, and so come the demos. So, what is Nili up to? I think that let me think about how this game went against Lix, as we have a demo coming in here. Demo. That's a huge demo for Vivi. And another huge one. That wasn't as good as it could have possibly been, but those two demos, were pretty much destroying Nili entirely over there. And now Nili is actually adding some galleys in here, but Vivi seems to be beating Nili on water right now. So Nili, he actually has 15 stone spent somewhere. I don't know where exactly he spent his stone at. He's making outposts. So he's prepared for Vivi pushing him on land, and that's why he doesn't have 200 stone. But this isn't great for Nili, because if you look at the resources, they will click up to the next stage at the same time. But if they click up at the same time, then Vivi is gonna beat Nili into Castle Age, and he's gonna have fire ships faster. This is looking pretty grim for Nili, not going to lie. In fact, this is looking awful for Nili. Demos trade-off over here, that's actually a beautiful demo for Nili. He could actually sink that fire galley as well. But Nili's fishing eco is getting pushed, Vivi's is untouched for the moment. Both players with double bit axe, and that's basically all of it. Demo the fish. Demoing the fish actually sometimes makes sense. In this case, not necessarily. Nili sending forward the fire ship to finish off Vivi's fishing eco. The problem, as I said, for Nili is going to be that he's gonna get beaten by Castle Age, or beaten to Castle Age here. The galley is actually pretty good at sniping fishing ships, so Nili could try to use that one. Nili is getting a market up, so he's gonna try selling his stone. We're gonna have a market as well for Vivi. He will sell his stone to go up, but I don't think that he needs to sell 200, or, well, if he sells both of his, or 200 stone, he's gonna be fine with the gold. And he's gonna have some extra as well. We'll figure it out in a second. So, As I said, even times for click up, but it's going to be 1.5 minutes for Malay, and Nili is gonna have 2.5 minutes on that timer, and that's a huge problem for Nili right now. That being said, he is slowly winning water, and if Vivi doesn't have any ship numbers, as it looks like he can, he just sold 100 stone over here. Nili didn't actually end up selling any stone to go up. So if Nili can force these engagements over here in Feudal Age, when he has the better fire galleys, he can lower the amount of fire galleys that Vivi has, and that's going to help because Vivi, in order to be able to capitalize on that faster castle age, you actually need to be able to preserve your army and get fire ships out of that. So if Nili takes this fight, he could actually save himself from actually being overrun in castle age by fire ships. Why is he missing 20 stone? Because Nili is making a lot of outposts. He's prepared to see Vivi coming in here with some land aggression. That was a beautiful demo from Nili. Sinks one ship over there. And demo out now. Vorgali immediately in for Vivi, and this is what I was referencing to. You can buy yourself some time if you are Nili by trying to destroy those ships before they're upgraded. Other thing that Nili could do now is make 1 or 2 demos, because that would help a little bit at just keeping those early fire ships away. Fire ships kill fishing eco fast, so there's a chance Nili is going to lose his fishing eco, and Nili, he's in trouble here. That demo needs to really connect. Demo coming in here from Vivi. That could be a beautiful demo hit if he hits over there. Not the best ever. And as I said, those early demos will help immensely at just protecting your fleet against the early fire ships. That's actually a nice move over there from Nili. Demo ship could be devastating, and it is. Nili is up to castle age, but you really gotta wonder if he actually has enough ships to upgrade to Vorgali by the time the upgrade comes in. Another demo comes in here, that could be huge. Nili is slowly losing all his fire galleys over here. And demo, this isn't really doing much. Nili still has Byzantine fire galleys, which helps a little bit. So this is not over just yet, and now he's scouting Vivi's base. Vivi is already prepared that Nili goes for land because he walled this off, and Nili is going to find this hole, something that Vivi didn't notice. And that could be huge for Nili. There might be another hole here as well. I'm not 100% sure, but Nili somehow got inside with that scout. Anyways, Vivi is fully walled, Nili isn't. Nili is gonna play 2 TCs, now goes for fire ships. So this is going just like a standard Baltic game would. You would have fire galley fights, demo, trying to get a good connection in. You have to split away. And that's gonna end up killing a villager. That was a repair villager, which is a little bit annoying for Nili. Here's the problem for Nili though. He is behind by 10 villagers. 5 of them were actually killed. This is 1 villager over here, and 4 fishing ships are still there for Vivi. But that is still just 5, so Nili also had a lot of TC idle time, I assume, compared to Vivi, which makes his villager count look pretty bad. Now, the good news is that at least his opponent doesn't have any eco bonus right now, so it's not like it's really a big deal. We also have to add that Malay get basically 2 free villagers by having a faster age up, so that also shows here. But with that 1.5 minute, almost 2 minutes TC idle time for Nili compared to 18 seconds, also shows in the villager count. Yeah, this is what the numbers mean at the bottom. This is villager idle time, this is town center idle time, this is amount of villagers killed, amount of villagers lost. So, Nili, as you see, a lot of TC idle time here. He just doesn't have the food eco to keep those TCs working. He is on 5 villagers on food, and Vivi still has the fishing ships alive, which is a huge thing. I think Nili could actually try demo sniping those. Nili's got Boso and Horse Color, same thing as Vivi. This could be a big demo shot as well. I feel like Vivi is just allowed to land so many big demo shots, and that's a huge concern for Nili right now. Are those numbers including fishing ships? Yes, they do. This is how Nili lost 5 vills. 4 of them were fishing ships, and 1 was the repair villager that was killed by a demo. Anyways, Nili now finding the fishing ships of his opponent. That demo could be traded off by Nili's demo. That was an intentional deletion by Vivi, and it was a relatively nice demo hit over there for Nili. But the fishing ships for Vivi are still alive, and eventually they will be helpful a little bit. Nili makes a war galley and tries to push the gold mine. Look at that. That's actually going to be a little bit annoying for Vivi, because he doesn't really have a lot of ships to deal with this one. In fact, Vivi has no ships. Vivi is making 1 fire ship over here. Oh boy. Vivi is on 3 TCs now. But does that matter if he's actually gonna lose his gold mine? That's a very, very unlucky gold mine spawn. But here's the chance for Nili. He's about to control the water. He needs to wall himself up, I believe, because Vivi could arrive with a land army soon, but it's not like Vivi is pushing with anything. Vivi's just chilling on 3TC boom. What is he up to? He's definitely not going into Imperial right now, but he stopped making ships for whatever reason. And this is a huge chance for Nili here. Those fire ships being a little bit better than the Malay fire ships, you should be finishing off those fishing ships over there. And Nili doesn't see the villagers sneaking out. This is the villager sneak that I was talking about. At some point, the player that is losing water is going to start switching to land, and that's exactly what you're seeing over here. Vivi is going to move out, but this is why Nili actually has vision over here. He doesn't want a wall. He wants to see if those villagers are coming his way, and that's near perfect vision over here. I would love to see, first of all, those galleys being spread out. Yes, that's correct. And then potentially a few more war galleys to try and deny that gold mine, because that would be huge. That demo could be enormous, and indeed it sinks 2 fire ships. That was nice value over there. And Nili sees the villagers moving up. He sees them. We'll see if he reacts though, because there's a lot of things to micro here. That's an inefficient demo for Vivi. Not the best ever. 1-for-1 demo versus fire ship trade is not great. And now Nili sees those. Nili obviously sees those and he reacts immediately with a siege workshop, rushing it up with 5 villagers. Vivi also recognizes that he has been revealed. So at this point, Vivi has an 11 villagers lead, but Nili starts to have the water. Nili is actually going to pull 2 villagers to stop that siege workshop over there. That's going to be some heavy villager micro, because you're going to have to take the hill. I think Vivi... Is he going to be able to finish this one? He might be able to. Yeah, I think he's going to be able to finish this one off. That's a beautiful micro, by the way, from Vivi. He force builds that one. He might lose both of his villagers here, though. And I think Nili can actually clean this one up. He is getting a monk out here, trying to get a conversion on the villager, and he will later on get a relics as well. Defensive mangonel on the way. Big fire ship fight in the middle. Vivi wasn't paying attention, eats a big demo shot. Vivi has 2 docks set ablaze, so he could start losing those docks. And if he loses the docks, he's gonna have trouble protecting that gold mine. Now what Vivi is gonna do is make monks to try and convert the war galleys, or even the fire ships, just to make sure that his opponent cannot actually kill his docks and his gold eco. Meanwhile, we have a scorpion here. 2 scorpions actually for Vivi. 2 scorpions, 2 villagers, and a bear. Walking to a bar. That's basically how a joke usually starts. Anyways, Vivi's gonna lose 2 villagers here. Nili actually avoids losing a second one. Vivi's got another scorpion inside, but these scorpions are pretty much useless here. So at the end of the day, I think Nili has pretty much won this fight. He's gonna have barracks up. Villager-wise, he's only behind by 6, so it's not the end of the world. And he also has a lot of fishing eco here, which is quite efficient right now. That's a castle, right? That's a castle indeed. Nili is gonna see that, but what is Nili going to do against that? That's a different question, because he's obviously gonna see that castle in his face. Once again, the bear joins the party. In World War II, one of the exiled Polish regiments actually had a bear puppy rescued from one of the zoos, I believe. That bear actually became part of that crew. He was called Wojciech, I think Wojciech or Wojciech. And he was actually taken photos of as he was helping out the soldiers carrying ammunition to artillery. That's what actually reminds me too. Yeah, it's Wojtek the bear. In case you haven't heard that story, it's very cool. Look that up. And there is actual photos of Wojtek carrying ammo, helping people, because he was trying to mirror what other humans did. So that was Wojtek's story. Unfortunately, this bear died, but it is what it is. Anyways, Nili sees the castle, and Vivi is also gonna go into Imperial here. That's a super fast Imperial. And the thing is that if you remember the Lix series, where Nili played in, one of the ways that Nili actually beat Lix was castle, and then a faster Imperial, and get traps out and start killing units. Karambit warriors, ladies and gentlemen. Not the best quality of unit over here. Vivi, another castle drop. That might actually go denied. There is some Karambit warriors on the way, and remember, Vivi is almost up to Imperial. Nili hasn't clicked up. Nili is gonna have cheaper Imperial Age, but it's still going to take 4 minutes until he gets up there. And Karambitos trying to get that mangonel snap, that's not gonna happen. The good news for Byzantines is that Byzantines have stronger HP or higher HP on their castles, so Byzantine castles can withstand punishment for some time. But it's going to be 2 castles producing traps, so this is going to be an insanely hard hold for Nili. The other good news is that if he somehow manages to keep that castle alive, he's going to be able to go for Cataphracts, and Cataphracts will eat the Karambit warriors. Also, if you actually make Karambit warriors, like 8 of them, you're going to have 1 Karambite warrior. Ranges. Not a fan. The problem with ranges against Karambit warriors is that they do a lot of overkill damage. Overkill damage is basically that they will just do a lot of damage to the Karambits, but Karambits are more about having a lot of them and having a very, very large amount of low-quality units. Thanks for the bit, Wooden Paladin. Indeed, it's a Karambit warrior. So, the thing is that archers don't do well or that well against Karambit warriors because there's a lot of overkill damage that they do. And the other problem is going to be that Nili's only castle is over here, so he's not going to be able to make Cataphracts if he's getting that trap down. And Vivi is getting Arbalasts out. Actually, no, it's Skirms. I guess he can go Skirms here, but he could actually go his own Arbs as well. Eco numbers are perfectly even. Look at Vivi. Scorpion rate. How often do you see things like that? Scorpion's actually raiding Eco. Majestic. Cataphracts would be perfect here for Nili. It's a matter of how is he going to keep a castle alive that's being trapped down by 3 trebs, and Vivi is making a 4th one, so he's not really messing around here. He's gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna grab 4 traps here and just smash that castle. And this is Nili's best map. He's actually got a monk inside Vivi's base, and he has just converted that villager. So now is the time to drop a castle in the face of Vivi here with 1 villager. Just joking. Alright, so yeah, no matter how much HP you have on a castle, it's 4 traps. You would need like 40, well, not 40 villagers, but around 30-ish villagers to repair that castle. It's actually up on a hill, so about like 25, 28 wills, but that's still impossible to do. Nili has 4 relics inside that monastery, which helps, but that's going to be gone very soon. And Vivi's just gonna go 5 TC, or 5 TC, 5 traps castle push. This is something very, very similar to Arena, or a play that you would see frequently from Arena, from Melee. Basically, you go to a relatively fast Imperial, and you beat your opponent with castles and trebs. And these trebs will just melt everything. This is something similar that Nili tried to do against Lix in the previous game, but the thing is that Vivi is doing it a lot more aggressively. Now Nili is at least up, but he's losing a lot of his base right now. Like, TCs are going down, he lost 4 relics. He doesn't really have an army composition that actually stops these skirmishers right now. And yes, he's gonna have 1 castle, but Vivi already has 5 traps here, and he can make traps on 3 castles. Feels like an almost impossible hold for Nili. He's gonna try getting bombard cannons out, but remember that he's also open from the right side. He's got 15 idols, and Vivi is looking strong. I don't think Vivi qualified for a previous Red Bull, and this is looking extremely bad for Nili. It started out reasonable, but basically Vivi was able to preserve his fishing eco for a longer amount of time, and he had a pretty considerable eco lead for the majority of the game. It would be kind of a miracle if Nili hold this one, to be honest. He's now falling behind in villager counts. Basically, what Vivi is doing him is exactly what he did to Lix here. So, exact same strategy. Strong forward position, followed by traps, and you don't need a lot of army, it's just traps will eat all the buildings. Nili is committing everything he has to repair that castle. If he has some bombard cannons and somehow snipes down those traps, maybe he can pull off a miracle. But the thing is that at this point you just dive in and snipe those bombard cannons with your Scorpion or with your Skirms. Nili is not repairing that castle anymore. He's probably focused on microing his bombard cannon. Nili is very good with bombard cannon micro. That's something to pay attention for. Redemption is in for Vivi, so he wants to grab those bombard cannons with Redemption and block printing. And here's the funny thing. He is just picking up the relics that Nili left behind. Nili lost the monastery with 5 relics inside or 4 relics inside. And Vivi is picking those up as well. Vivi is using every bit of advantage that he can have. Nili has 1 trap out right now, making a second one. He managed to kill, I think, 1 trap, maybe even 2. The bombard cannon could actually try diving in, and Vivi is losing his skirm numbers. And he's not going to have a lot of things to deal with those bombard cannons with. So maybe Nili can actually somehow hold this. That doesn't mean Nili is gonna win this game, but Nili might be able to hold this position. If he loses this, this is absolutely over. He's gonna have to push out to the bombard cannon and try to take down those crabs. That's the only hope. So it's now or never for Nili. He's actually going for a castle with the bombard cannons. He's actually going for a castle. Vivi is using the traps now to take down Nili's traps here. Bombard cannon still alive for Nili, and Nili is very good with the bombard cannon micro. There is one bombard cannon sniped down over there. Vivi committing a bunch of villagers to repairing. Remember, he doesn't have a lot of vills here to repair, and more skirms are arriving. Nili doesn't have extra armor on those skirms. That hurts so much. Vivi's, oh my god. Vivi's got +4 defense. Nili's got 0 defense upgrades on those skirms. Not even bracer. And there is even a conversion on that bombard cannon. Nili is trying, but I don't think this is gonna happen. Maybe if Nili had the same upgrades, this would actually be doable. But, to be honest, he's getting massively out-teched here. His skirms are getting eaten by the Malay skirms here, and he's supposed to be dominating skirm wars, because he's got cheap Byzantine skirms. But there were bombard cannons converted. Skirms are dying because they don't have any extra armor. Nili's eco is in ruins, by the way, and that's the problem that Nili is facing. Look at this. On the right side, Vivi is trying to push. Nili actually stopped that with a tower, but Vivi is now pulling like 30 villagers to actually make this happen. And we also have a bombard cannon out from Vivi taking that tower down. I think Nili is going to have another castle in his face. Even if this goes down, there's just nowhere to go for Nili. 8 on food, and Vivi is going to have a next wave setup. It's 53 military compared to 5. Nili is trying this one, but this is not going to happen. And this castle goes up. Nili has nowhere to go. If that castle goes down, Nili is super dead. That's the only thing that makes him hope that he can actually win. But I don't think it's happening. One castle goes down, but at this point, Vivi gladly takes that trade. Vivi gladly takes it because Nili has nowhere to go. Feels Nili, man. 2 games down compared to Vivi, and Vivi is looking strong. Not going to lie. I mean, Nili isn't playing as good as he did against Lix, I think. But Vivi is also looking pretty strong. And with that, 2 games in the favor of Vivi. Malay actually worked out nice over here. In retrospective, I like the Malay pick. It's about using your better castlage time really well. I think Vivi actually did that well. So you have to be able to get to fire ships faster, get some demo ships in, and then Nili started losing water. At some point it looked like Nili is actually going to win water, but then Vivi just transitioned to land eco and pretty much beat Nili on land. If you look at the resources, these are a little bit misleading because they also involve the late game where Nili was just unable to get resources and he was pretty much just repairing the castle. But yeah, still better eco for Vivi. And this thing, this imp time, where's that? This imp time is what matters. 3 minutes imp time is just huge. Relic gold, Nili's got 700. Vivi at the end of the day got more because he garrisoned Nili's relics and he also had the 5th one. So it ends up being a little bit more gold. Nili really tried everything. Like, he actually played this one quite well. But Vivi just proved to be stronger in this one. But this is a best of 7, which means Nili can still win 4-2. Nili still can win 4-3. I predicted 4-3 for Nili, but he needs to step his game up a little bit more in order to be able to get things going in the upcoming games. So let's see. This Hans is, I don't know why these are actually tagged here. So Britain's is gone for Nili, and wait, this is not even that draft. This is the draft of Nili versus Lix. This is the real draft. So here's the real draft. We have Malay gone for Vivi, and we got Ethiopians gone. Nili has lost Britons, and he lost Byzantines. Nili's next home map is going to be either Lowland or Rockslide. If it's Rockslide, it's probably Saracens. If it's Lowland, it's probably Cumans for Nili. Give me half a second to turn on some lights because it's getting dark out here. So I'll be back in half a minute and we'll continue with game number 3 once they start. Okay, so next up is either Rock Slide or Lowland. I don't see the lobby just yet. We'll see if we're gonna have a change here, but it's going to be Lowland and Nili is going Kumans. As I expected, I don't like this strategy. I never liked it. I feel like it's something that can be punished very, very well. I'll explain why in a second. So, Berbers, especially Berbers, I think that's pretty much a counter pick from Vivi here, because the late game composition of Kumans will very likely be either Cavalry or Kipchak. It's more likely it's going to be Kipchak. And Camel Archers will just eat the Kipchak. And because of that, I'm really not a big fan of this one, but it's more about the fact that Kuman's 2TC boom on this game, or this map, is very, very greedy. And if you do that, if your opponent pretty much just goes straight into Castlage, you're gonna get punished very hard by a faster Castlage forward Siege Workshop and Mangonels. So this is, I think, a bit too greedy from Nili. I have seen others using Kumans as well on this map, and I just feel like it's just a bad save overall for this. Liquid Egg Product, thank you so much for the 20 euros of donation. Greatly appreciated as well. Thank you, thank you. Or yeah, you can actually do faster Castlage and 5TC boom like MBL did against Kaswa. That's also something that you can actually play for. But anyways, in 30 seconds, we're going to have Nili versus Vivi. This is a must-win for Nili here. Like, this has to be a win, no matter what. Because if he loses this one, he's gonna be down by 3 games, and many people said 4-0 for Vivi. I didn't believe them because I saw how Nili played against Lix. But this is getting scary for Nili here. And not in a good manner. So this is going to be troublesome for Nili if he loses this game. And, well, Jordan is not going to be able to qualify. Doubt, Viper, and Taro is in. Let's see if Nili can actually turn things around and get into the main event. So, let's see what we have for Nili over here. He's going to be playing Kumans on the right side. In yellow, left side is Vivi. 2 games up, playing as Berbers in red. We're going to have a stable immediately for Vivi. He's probably going to try and get some Voyager kills with early scouts. And what is Nili up to? He's walling up, and this is why I said I don't like the Kuman 2TC boom. When you have a gold like this, you can't afford to just, you know... That's some very greedy walls from Nili. That's like super greedy walls from Nili. He wants to wall like 20% of the map. I really don't like this. I really don't like this from Nili. So it seems like he might actually go straight fast castle though. Because he's not dropping a second TC. That could be a decent mind game. But even then, the late game composition is not something I like for Kumans against Berbers. But yeah, obviously, well, not obviously, but I thought Nili's gonna go 2TC boom. I would have hated if he goes 2TC boom. Just make it clear. I would have hated if he goes 2TC boom. But he apparently isn't going for that. And in that case, this might work out well for him. He's going straight FC, apparently, not dropping a second TC. Those Kuman Palisades will also hold a little longer because they have the extra 50% HP. And since Vivi is not adding any range units, it's likely that he's not gonna get through the walls unless Nili isn't able to finish off the walls here. And that's a problem. Can you actually do diagonal gate over here? You might be able to. Anyways, scouts are in. Nili's gonna be walled from the... Actually, Nili's gonna have a hole over here, something that he does not see. And that could actually end up being his death. And it looks like he's gonna go for 2TC boom. Not a fan. Because now Vivi can just go straight towards Castle Age. And that's exactly what Vivi should do. Just straight towards Castle, forward Siege Workshop, Mangonels, and Nili's gonna get punished for a greedy Castle Age. Especially considering that one of his gold is over here. Anyways... Nili trying to wall this one in. 2 more spearmen arriving. Let's see if Nili can save that Voyager, but I don't think he will be able to. Another Voyager buys the dust here from Nili. The first Voyager casualty of this game. And yeah, I mean, this TC is gonna go up, but Vivi is gonna be halfway to Castle Age by the time Nili starts to capitalize on that. So, really not a fan of this. In fact, look at this. Scouts are even just denying that TC, or at least delaying it quite significantly. Another villager goes down. This is looking so bad for Nili right now. Like, he's behind by 3 villagers and he still doesn't have the TC up, and Vivi is about to click up into Castle Age. And honestly, if you're Vivi, you might even consider sending a bunch of villagers to stone, because you know Nili is gonna do 2 TC boom. You know Nili is gonna do a 2 TC boom, and that means that you might even get away with just mining stone and castle dropping Nili. Like, that's definitely doable here. Just make 2 knights, and then get a castle in here, and that's basically it. Nili, by the way, also has a hole here on the south. That's something that he didn't notice. So yeah, at least, I don't know, I don't like this strategy from Nili, and you can see why. Especially with such greedy wars. Like, the thing is that if you want to play 2 TC boom, you have to play it with greedy wars. The problem is that this strategy is just not good for this map. I don't know who actually started doing this, but this is not a good idea. This is not a good idea. You're gonna get punished for it. It takes so much time to build that feudal age TC, and it's so predictable. Your opponent knows exactly you're going for that, so what Vivi is gonna do, make 3 scouts and then go double stable knights and then into siege workshop, mangonels. And as I said, I feel like this could even be more optimized for Vivi and just go, okay, I'm gonna mine some stone and then castle drop Nili. And if the castle comes in here, it's almost over. So, no matter who is doing this strategy, I massively disapprove the Kuman boom. Vivi apparently is gonna do some crazy wars here. Nili might actually have a chance to kill a villager. Oh yeah, Nili sees that. Nili is gonna get 1 villager kill over here. Or not. Or not. Feels bad. It looked like he might actually get 1 villager killed at least. But yeah, Nili isn't far away from clicking up, but at the end of the day, he's gonna have like a, what, 2 villagers lead? I think he's intentionally idling one of the TCs so he can actually click up, but I really don't like what's actually happening here. His resources are looking good to click up, but he's missing the second building, which is a market that's just being finished over here. But if you look at the villager count, by the time Nili gets up to Castle Age, Vivi's gonna have the same villagers. And Vivi apparently is going to play conservative here. He's not really going to castle drop Nili anytime soon, just go for TC in the middle. Honestly, Vivi isn't punishing Nili for this greedy boom. Vivi isn't punishing at all. I feel like you could punish this one so hard. So, Vivi is just gonna play 2 TCs here. And if you look at this villager count, I can guarantee that by the time he gets up to Castle Age, this is gonna be an even villager count. It looks like we're gonna have pikemen from Nili. So, I guess what he could try to play for is play pike and siege in the middle and try denying Vivi's gold. Because Vivi and both players actually have very, very little gold on the outside rim. You have to go to the middle for all the gold. So because of that, you want to be able to deny that one. Anyways, camos are out as well for Vivi. So apparently Vivi was expecting knights from Nili, but Nili is gonna go triple Brack Spikeman. Interesting. Yeah, honestly, yes, Kasva tried the same thing as MBL. This doesn't work. This strategy just flat out doesn't work, the 2 TC boom. And the reason why it doesn't work is because it's so predictable that your opponent can get away with just going straight to Castle Age and either making 3 TCs, or I think it's even better to just go forward Siege Workshop Mangonels. I honestly think that's just better. Overchop seems like it's not the case, and there is the Siege Workshop. Nili might actually find that villager kill. Camels will actually clean this one up. And what is Nili going to do against this? Now at least he's in Castle Age, so he can go defensive Siege Workshop. If the thing is that if Vivi actually went for this 2 minutes ago, this Siege Workshop, Nili would be dead because his TCs would just die to 2 Mangonels here while he's in Feudal. At least while he's in Castle, he can defend against this one. Nili had to pop out the Spearman. Pikemen are actually out. Vivi is sending villagers to stone. So, look at this. 5 villagers lead for Nili, but he's only on 2 TCs. And he's gonna get pushed by Mangonels. Vivi is on 3. So at the end of the day, Vivi is gonna catch up, and remember that Nili doesn't have Wheelbarrow, which accounts for 3 villagers, so this is basically even villager count. Nili gained absolutely nothing from Kumans, but in exchange he got a very, very predictable build, And I feel like Berbers are actually a counter pick here to the Kumans as well. That being said, Vivi is taking one of the most disastrous fight over here of not just this series, but of the qualifiers. Vivi getting a monastery in. Interesting decision to go for a monastery here. Let's not underestimate that Berbers actually have a fully upgraded champion line. So technically longswords is an option for Vivi, even though he probably doesn't want to go for that. Probably Camel Archers is your ideal late game composition if you are Vivi, but he's very far away from that, so longswords could be something that he considers. Would a Kuman pick on Atacama work? No second TC heavy skull production into full feudal war. Feudal Siege Workshop is too expensive for a weak eco to make it working, and you wouldn't gain anything by destroying 2 buildings. Atacama is not about that. Atacama is about killing villagers early on. Like, what buildings are you trying to destroy? You aren't really gonna have an edge or an advantage that's big enough to be able to ram down buildings, I would say, in Feudal Age. And in exchange, you don't have any eco bonus then. Berbers don't have supplies? I think they do have supplies. I'm not 100% sure, but I think they do. Berbers. Berbers have supplies. Alright, here is the Pike and Siege push from Nili. I think the Pike and Siege part of this push is actually completely alright. I just don't like the Kumans play here. Maybe he wanted to play Kumans because he wanted to bait Vivi into thinking that, hey, I'm going for Knights or I'm going for Kipchak. And now he wants to play with Pike and Siege. So maybe Kumans was here to bait the Berbers pick and then you want to go Pike and Siege. I can imagine something like this. But it doesn't change the fact that right now, Vivi's got siege weapons inside the base of Nili. Those knights might actually pick off one of those mangonels. That's a beautiful hit from Nili over there. But at the end of the day, he loses 2 mangonels and just 1 was killed from Vivi. And Vivi actually has scorpions killing villagers inside Nili's base here. This TC is getting mangoed down. If Vivi actually wasn't housed, he would be able to make his own mangonel, but he's not gonna be housed anytime soon. Well, he's gonna get his knights and camels killed here by pikemen, and then he's gonna be fine making that. But he obviously is housed for a long time. Mining stone with 13, so he wants to drop a defensive castle, maybe some around over here, to get this gold for himself, and then start making camel archers. And camel archers would just destroy everything that Nili has. Basically in the entire game, so there is no unit composition that Nili can go for that would actually beat the camel archer play here, basically. So this is looking very grim for Nili. There is a mangonel that's almost ready. Pikeman will try to kill the villagers here, but then disengage because Nili understands he can't stop that castle. Big mangonel shot, and the rest of the pikemen might actually get cleaned up by the TC here. Boy, oh boy, a lot of TC out of time for Nili. Mangonel shots also just smashing this one. Hubs, rams kill camel archers. Yes, but I don't think that Nili is gonna survive until late Imperial. That's the problem. Why not skirms against camel archers? Skirms work against camel archers, but Kumans do not have a bracer. So in Imperial, those skirms will not be that great, and Berbers can actually mix in some knights to soak up the damage. So that's the problem with them. He has kept rams in Castle Age. True. Right now he's mangoing down his own pikemen. Kept rams plus pikemen might work, but I feel like mangonel and camel archer can hold against that. So even if it's not going to be an easy hold, I think it's doable. And especially when you have a castle, you have like 2 mangonels here holding this hill, you can't ram that down. I don't think that's possible. Unless your opponent massively misplays it. I think the biggest weakness of Berbers is siege ram. If you get to siege ram, things could get a lot more problematic for the Berber player, but that takes a lot of time to get to, or does it? Nili is not far away from Imperial, and I didn't necessarily expect this game to go deep into Imp. And the thing is that indeed one of the weaknesses of Berbers, the biggest weakness of Berbers in fact, is siege ram halberdier, if it's actually siege ram. And Nili might be able to get there, because he's not super far away, and there isn't really a lot of camel archers right now for Vivi. Nili's just chilling on this hill, and it looks like Nili's just gonna go to the middle. I would love to see a TC here for safety of the villagers. 10 villagers lead for Vivi, but imp times will be completely identical. So, the thing is, however, one thing I forgot about Berbers here. Many people said the Halberdier and Sage push. Berbers have champions here. So Berbers could actually go Longsword champion to actually deal with the Ram and Pike push. That's something I completely forgot about. Nili is going to go for Halberdier and Siege push. So Vivi is going to have to realize that and go for champions over here. Vivi, nice low eco lead. Nili is actually missing both Castle Age upgrades on the Lumber Camp and the Mill. Vivi's going to lose a Monastery here. Not really a big deal for him right now, though. Nili can go Kipchaks. If Nili goes Kipchaks, Camel Archers will eat them. Kipchaks is absolutely not something that Nili can go for here. Like, that's not even remotely close to what he's supposed to be doing. Nili is going to be on free TCs for now. And Mango Shot, that's actually nice for Vivi. Let's see if Nili can finish that TC off. That's going to be a nice 1-for-1 at the end of the day. And here comes Vivi with the Camel Archers. They don't even have Botkins, so I wouldn't classify them as great units over here. Running into the Castle Fire, Vivi's got some pretty bad unit control over here. Getting Tumbling and Ballistics right now, but he doesn't really have the units. And one thing that Vivi could suffer from here is that if he doesn't have the unit numbers, he could get overrun by Nili's army here. Because Nili would actually have Halberdier very soon with Siege, and Vivi doesn't have the unit numbers. Vivi is only using one castle to produce Camel Archers. That's not an awful lot. So there is a significant production bottleneck for Vivi. He's soon going to have a second castle, but he's also getting forced away from the gold here, and Vivi doesn't see the other gold. He has a gold mine over here. In fact, he already has a second castle, so that bottleneck is slowly going away. Indeed, that's actually a mistake from Nili that he didn't get Kebdram while he was going up to Imperial. Because he should have gotten that. So that he can get to like Siege Ram almost instantly while he is, or like when he is up. He can't afford it right now, but yeah, that's something that could have been considered for Nili. And now it's Chemistry, Bracer. You need Siege Ram for this if you are Nili. Because Pikeman or Halberdier alone won't actually kill the Camel Archers, and that's a lot of Camel Archers. Bracer, Chemistry, soon Elite. So they will just melt the Mangonels. And Vivi, look at that. Castle drop in Nili's face once again. There is the Halberdier, and Nili's gonna go traps here. The problem is that this castle is actually in an elevation compared to this land. So Nili is gonna be firing up hills, which is going to reduce the damage output of this one. And also I think Vivi wants to break in here. And he should be able to. If he garrisons the Camel Archers inside the castle, or just use the Camel Archers to take it down, whichever works, he's gonna be able to take that down very fast. I'm not sure if Nili is realizing that in time. He does. He's gonna make a defensive castle over there. And Nili is about to lose a Trebuchet to a Mangonel. This is an enormous mistake. This is going to be insanely painful for Nili. Like, I don't want to over-exaggerate that loss, but that could be extremely important for the game. Because now Nili's push in the middle is completely dead. And Doubt. It goes up. It goes up. Vivi didn't actually focus the Vultures. Vivi wanted to just run past the castle. Nili tries quick walling this one, but oh, disaster. Disaster. I think we're in for a 3-0 here, ladies and gentlemen. Because I don't see Nili's push happening anytime. So he's got one villager on wood, only 10 on food. He's getting a trap out, but at this point, Camel Archers will come in and destroy everything that he has over here. He doesn't have an answer to Camel Archers. And I think I will look very, very dumb when we actually look back at the fact that I said that I predict 4-3 for Nili because Vivi apparently is playing super sharp today. This is definitely one of the better Vivis I have seen in tournaments. Like, in King of Desert, Vivi's performance was a disaster, for example. So, not going to lie, this is also the fact that I think that Nili isn't playing as good as he did against Lix. And also, Vivi's playing better than he did in recent tournaments. But I don't understand here. I don't know what the concept here was for Nili in terms of picking Kumans, but it was somewhat predictable and he got counterpicked quite hard. Overall, I'm surprised about Nili's Sif selections for most of the maps. Like, Byzantines is fine for Cattails, but Kumans is not the way to go on this map. We have seen this so many times. If I had a statistics sheet, I would just show that Kumans probably have a very, very low win rate on this map. Vivi reached top 16 in King of Desert. Did he? He was in the... I don't think he reached top 16. He lost to Tato, right? I remember the Vivi versus Tato series. And that was an awful series. It was a full disaster gameplay. Yeah, there's no way. I think Vivi was 17 to 32. He didn't even get to the group stage. This is why I was saying that I wasn't convinced on Vivi's recent tournament performances, because in a tournament that was full Arabia, something that would actually benefit Vivi, he was just unable to get to top 16 even. So at this point, it's a slow and painful death, to be honest. Yeah, I think that's actually a relatively close assumption. Nili has overperformed against Lix and Heart, but now is underperforming. So it's a combination of Nili not playing his best game and Vivi playing much better than expected, basically. And this is going to spiral out of control very soon for Nili. Nili is trying to get to onagers, but things like this and lack of mobility is going to hurt Nili so badly. Like, he's gonna have onagers against the camel archers, but camel archers can always run away. And there will be Hussar from Vivi, and Vivi is just gonna be able to raid Nili's eco to that. There is already Bombard cannon shelling that castle. Oh man. There is, by the way, a hole over here. So if Vivi wants to, he can just run in here and kill everything. I'm just saying. And yeah, there is going to be onagers. That's a nice thing, but Bombard cannon camel archer is going to beat everything over here. Someone just said on the chat that that hole is not coming to play. Vivi actually right-clicked inside Nili's base, and now he's going to see this. And this is a typical moment where every player would just say GG, because it's like, how? This is a very, very tilting moment, and indeed, the moment Nili noticed the camel archers inside, he said, oh shoot, it's over. This is a very, very tilting way to lose. But of course, this didn't actually matter. Like, let's be honest, the fact that Nili is losing the castle here, he's outnumbered 2-1 in unit numbers, and Nili has a bunch of halberdiers that are not even able to do any damage to those camel archers if the micro is good. This is just, this was just not the game for Nili, let's say. I don't like the Kumans pick here. No matter who is doing it, Kumans, I think, are disaster on this map. So Vivi did reach round of 16s, or the group stage in KOTD, but if you actually look back at Tato versus Vivi as a game, Vivi played awful. Tato played awful in that as well. That was one of the worst tournament games I've ever seen. It was total disaster from both players. I think Tato won that at the end, but Vivi didn't play well in KOTD. He got to top 16, but like, especially that set against Tato was a disaster for him. So with that, Vivi is up 3 games. It's now or never for Nili. It's now or never. The best chance of Nili so far to qualify for a Red Bull event. In Red Bull 2, he didn't get to the top 16. Here, he gets to the quarterfinals. And now, he is down by 3 games against Vivi. It's really a now or never for Nili, and we are going to Rock Slide. Now, Rock Slide is a map where I can see Nili winning, because one thing I was thinking about while I was casting is that Vivi might have seen the games that Nili played against Lix and maybe prepared from those. There was no Rock Slide game, and I feel like Nili might have some hidden tricks for Rock Slide. But anyways, Berbers are gone for Vivi over here, and Nili is going to be losing Kumans, and he's going to be playing as Saracens here. He is going to play Saracens, I think, because that's the only reasonable map or civ for this map. He still has Aztecs, Khmer, Teutons left, which hurts. I think it hurts my soul to see that potentially the top 3 civs he still has them. Don't understand the Britons pick on Arabia. Kuman's pick, I think, is predictable and bad on Lowlands. In fact, a lot of players are playing Kumans on Lowlands, and it never works. So I'm really not a fan of those Kuman picks over there. So, with that in mind, we are gonna get going with game number, how much is this? Game number 4. This is not Doubt Slide, this is Rock Slide. Saracens for Nili, Italians for Vivi over here. Italians? Excuse me? Italians makes very, very little sense here for Vivi. So I have no idea what he's up to. Like, what do you actually gain from Italians on this map? I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. What Nili is going to try and play is Saracen galleys, probably. Someone say in Nili's chat that Vivi is stream sniping. Is that true? Every time someone is losing a tournament, there will be someone on the chat saying, "Oh, the opponent is stream sniping." No, it's not true. I'm not even sure if Chinese players have access to Twitch. I'm not sure about that. They might not even be able to open this website. So, no, these are pro players. They are not stream sniping, that's for sure. So, yeah, I think Nili, if he wants to win one game, this is the moment. This is the moment because he's got the better Civ. He's obviously got a way better Civ. So, yeah, like, some people are saying Chinese don't have Twitch, some do that Chinese do have Twitch. It doesn't matter, like, pro players don't really stream snipe, to be honest. And I feel like it's just every time someone loses, the opponent is going to be accused of stream sniping. We have seen this so many times. But, well, let's be honest, it's very unlikely that we're seeing stream snipes. By the way, I just want to point out that the casters, especially to avoid stream sniping, as you could see in the countdown screen, there is 2 minutes of spectator delay. So anybody that is watching a caster cast also sees 2 minutes delay. Nili, he's streaming his POV on this one. It is his own responsibility that he's doing it. So he could decide, okay, he doesn't want to stream his POV, and then there is going to be delay no matter where the potential stream sniper goes, but there is no stream sniping in here. So no, just ignore those stupidity on the chat about that. So with that, we're gonna have Nili going for galleys over here as expected. Vivi as well. So we're gonna have a very, very standard start over here for both players. The starting gold mines are actually very, very close to the water, so you can actually deny those with galleys. But here is why I'm saying that I think Nili has a massive advantage, because the Saracen galleys are much, much better than the Italian ships over here. Plus, Nili can sell his stones, something that he should do, and go up to better castle age time, get war galley, and then just pretty much win the game that way. Anyways, we're gonna have fletching already in for Nili. He's waiting for the right moment to strike, I believe, but Vivi is already on 2 docks, so ship numbers will be slightly better for Vivi, and apparently we're gonna have fire galleys, something I do not like. I really don't like the fire galley play here, because demos can kill them so easily. There is nowhere to go with your fire ships but backwards, so just 1 or 2 demos can be so devastating here. I don't like the fire galley play here from Vivi. Anyways, Nili's gonna get fletching, and Nili also has faster firing Saracen galleys, so this is actually a very, very good fight for Nili over there. 2 docks are up for him, and he's now trying to finish off the scout of his opponent. Vivi saves that low HP galley over there, and look at Nili. He's trying to use his scout, I believe, to block the movement of the fire galleys, and that way allow his galleys to be microed a little bit easier. Anyways, Vivi is doing a beautiful job at just dragging away the weak ships, but I think Nili is going to be able to finish that one off. He's definitely going to try. Nili did lose his scout in the process, and Vivi is repairing his ships perfectly. He's doing an excellent job keeping everything he has alive, and there is the market from Nili coming up. Nili really wants that fire galley killed. Nili really wants that fire galley killed, and it goes down. But the other galley was actually repaired, and now Vivi is switching back into galleys himself. Third dock on the way for the Fat Dragon, but if you look at Nili, when that market goes up, Nili is gonna be able to click up right away. Indeed, Vivi sold faster, that's true, but Saracen market will compensate for that. So at the end of the day, it's just going to be the fact that Nili isn't gonna get any benefit from Saracens. I think it's pretty much going to be the even sell rates compared to the other player, because the other player sold faster and you have the Saracen market bonus. But indeed, he's not really going to beat Vivi into Castle Age here. Vivi apparently is well prepared for this one. I'm not a fan of the Fire Galley play, but other than that, he knows that Saracens want to buy themselves up, and well, Castle Age will be slightly better for the Fat Dragon over there, and that's a problem because Saracens really want to capitalize on that faster Castle Age over here. The two players are very close, and one thing I could imagine for Nili is using that Saracen market and the good prices to get some stone. You could have to buy 200 stone, which is not ideal, but Saracen market might be something that can make it worth it, and drop a tower here. That would actually cause a lot of headache for Vivi because two of his lumber camps are here. Now, Vivi or Nili doesn't know about that just yet, so this is why he's not doing it. But had he known that there is two lumber camps here, it would make sense to drop a tower here. Because then Vivi would have to move here, which is a very inefficient lumber camp, by the way. So, that's just a small story over there. Oftentimes on maps where you don't have mineable stones, Saracens have been used before to just buy the stone that you need for towers. So, Nili a little bit later to Castle Age than Vivi, but I think he's gonna be able to save his fleet, and he also has a slightly larger fleet over here. Nili forward siege workshop. Nili forward, this is gonna be a forward, and I love this. If this is a forward siege workshop, then Nili is doing what he has to on this map, and I knew that Nili was around, I think one of my casts before. I wonder if this is something that he saw as a caster himself, or maybe he took it as an idea from me. I'm not going to say that I invented this strat. I'm just saying that the only way you make a galley play here work is if you can actually sandwich your opponent's villagers here in between the wood line and your galleys, and you can do that by a forward siege workshop. So it might just be Nili figuring out the same thing I did, or maybe Nili heard what I said and maybe Nili thought, hey, this is actually a good idea. Could be both. Let's assume that Nili found it out himself and not heard it from my E. Because I assume, like, Nili's a very smart player, so I assume that he would actually figure things out like that himself. Anyways, Vorgali is in here as well, goes for fast careening, which means that he's gonna have the +1 defense as well on those Vorgalis. Nice little bonus. This villager is actually kind of hiding. Right now, this is just a house on the gold mine, so maybe it's not forward siege workshop for now for Nili, and he just wants to get vision on that gold mine. Oh, Nili. Why no forward siege workshop? That would be a so cool move. When you actually start winning the water here, a forward siege workshop actually makes a lot of sense. Anyways, Vivi still has that repair villager in combat, and Vivi seems to have some slightly better numbers over here. Nili has one of the docks idle, but a lot of the ships are very weak for Vivi, so he might actually lose that villager. Ballistics is coming in for Vivi. Nili is not going for that just yet. So Nili is 1 TC, no ballistics. Vivi is gonna have ballistics here pretty soon. And, well, this villager is just chilling right now. For now, I don't think that Nili needs the siege workshop anymore, although you could make an argument for it. Do you know why? Because you could make a ram. And the ram would soak up a lot of arrow fire from the war galleys. So making a ram here would actually benefit you from the aspect of being able to have a meat shield in front of your army, and the war galleys would actually target that. So Vivi would have to manually retask his war galleys to attack Vivi's ships, or Nili's ships here. Nili now will be within the range of Vivi's woodline to see him. Same thing for Vivi over here, which means that we could see a tower being bought by either side, and there is Nili. I don't want to praise myself over here because, you know, I don't want to be selfish or anything, but I said this 3 minutes ago, that Saracen Market actually makes it worthwhile to buy stone to drop a tower here, and that's going to cripple Vivi's wood income here for some time. It's not a huge impact, but it's actually going to cripple that wood income for just a small amount of time, and that gives a little edge for Nili. It's actually worth it. Look at that mass migration that Vivi is forced to do. He's gonna have to make new lumber camps over here, and Yeah, this is just like what you would do on Hamburger, but it's actually better. So, Nili now going for the dog kill over here. Still no Siege Workshop from him. I feel sad. I really want to see players dropping Siege Workshop here. But it depends on actually winning War or not. As long as you're not winning War, you might not need the Siege Workshop. Although I would still love to see it for Rams. Anyways, one thing that we also have to keep in mind is that this tower is going to allow Nili to actually cut into the base of Vivi. So we could see a Siege Workshop push from the inside if Nili chops through here. It's not very, very hard to push through here in the middle. And Vivi is without careening, something that is going to give a nice little advantage for Nili. Extra armor on those ships. And also those ships fire faster. On the other hand, we also have to keep in mind that Nili doesn't have ballistics. So he's doing all of this without ballistics. Whereas Vivi is not. Also, fun fact that Nili actually has horse color for the 6 farmers that he has. And now Vivi tries to get a tower up over there. I'm not sure if that actually is going to go up. It might. But this is just going to be annoying for Nili. And also remember that it's more expensive for Vivi to buy that stone than it is for Nili. So I think that's also a win for Nili over there in that aspect. Nili will have to replace this lumber camp anyways. And now he sees the tower, so he's just going to replace it over there. I don't think this is as big for Vivi as it was for Nili to have this tower up, I think. So ballistics in here for Nili. Voyager-wise, the Voyager counts are completely even. Both players playing 1 TC over here. Nili's trying to chop wood on the outside, getting to stone. Especially when you can chop through the middle like this. Getting stone is going to be quite crucial. Because you could potentially make an argument for trying to maybe add a second tower, or later on if you can actually chop through here and your opponent isn't paying attention, you can even drop a castle there. We have seen, I think, castle drops in the previous qualifiers. Anyways, Nili did lose a villager over here trying to repair the tower. But yes, this tower is absolutely preventing Nili from cutting into Vivi's base, which is an important factor to pay attention for. Anyways, in terms of ship numbers, we have 29 versus 33 war galleys, but these guys don't have careening, and they also are having a lower firepower than Vivi's galleon, because Vivi's got, or Nili's got faster firing war galleys here. And here comes a big fight. This is something that Nili should easily win. He's got more armor. There's even houses that are soaking up the arrow fire. I think these houses for Nili on the shoreline are actually intentional, because that way he can also use something to soak up some arrow fire. Same thing for Vivi here with these 2 houses. Because even if just 3 of the war galleys actually target the random house, that's going to decrease the amount of damage that the war galleys will suffer from. Nili, 20 galleys left here, 18 for Vivi. Remember, these are better ships for Nili as well. 19 against 12. You see the Saracen firepower. This is like Ethiopian archers against standard archers. And you see the extra careening over there. Nili could even finish that dock off. I think he should. He's trying to chase the army right now, trying to ride that advantage. And it seems like he's going to be able to finish off the fleet of his opponent here. And that would force Vivi to go away from this gold mine. And this is what I was talking about. Now is the time for a Siege Workshop for Nili. Now is the time for a Siege Workshop. Because you could actually start pushing this one with mangonels. And on the other side, there is no escape for Vivi. That's the thing. We have, I think Vivi queued up some demos for some time. So you can actually try to get some demos on these clumped up war galleys, but now he's trying fire ships. Nili is going for a lot of war galleys, and something to pay attention for is that if you order invest into water, you might still die. So we could have war galleys from Nili here harassing that wood line, and this is something to keep in mind as well. Where is Vivi gonna get the wood from? Like, war galleys could harass this part of the wood line. This part of the wood line here from Vivi could be oversaturated. And also, Vivi, while he was taking the water engagements, he wasn't paying attention to this tower, and Nili will actually start chopping through. The Fat Dragon taps out. Reverse sweep in the making. Nili gets one over here for himself. This was very well played. He played as good as he played against Licks, and as I said, I think he needs that. I'm just sad about the fact that he kind of wasted the first 3 games, because I don't think that the strategy choices were great for Nili on those. 63 kills for Nili, 33, that's very, very nicely done here. This was a very good strategy with very good execution. From Nili, previous games, there were some questionable strategies. Well, we should keep something in mind as well. And that is that Nili still has some strong civs available, but it's going to be Vivi's home maps. All of them. So, let's see what we have over here. Vivi is going to lose his Italians. Don't know why he went Italians. What do you get with Italians here? I have no idea. Portuguese would have been way better. Yeah, basically Portuguese, maybe even Persians. You could have made an argument for Persians. But Portuguese should have been way better than Italians. This was a bad civ pick for Vivi here. And Saracens for Nili. Nili is left with Bulgarians, Aztecs, Khmer, Teutons. And if you are Vivi, you are playing Atacama here. Why? Because the only game that Nili lost against Licks was Atacama. So, because of that, I think that you are actually playing Atacama if you're Vivi. You could make an argument for Habub, and now that I think about that, for Habub could be Nili's Bulgarians map. Kavasan? Vivi is picking Kavasan? That makes zero sense. That makes literally zero sense, because I feel like that's actually one of the stronger maps for Nili, and he has Aztecs for it, one of the strongest civs out there. It's gonna be an Aztecs versus Franks war if it's Kavasan. But I would be... like, I wouldn't really like the Kavasan pick from Vivi, to be honest. Because I feel like... he would just have a so big lead, but who am I to tell? We have Aztecs versus Franks. Surprise, surprise. No, well, it's not really surprising. The two best civs on this map, basically. Like, if you would rank the top 4 Kavasan civs, it's Aztecs, Franks, Malians, Japanese, probably. Aztecs want to benefit from the faster working barracks, faster working ranges. And they also want to benefit from the extra relics in the middle, which is going to be important. Yeah, Lithuanians, true. True, I forgot about Lithuanians, sorry. I think the reason why I forgot about Lithuanians is because Lithuanians is always banned when it's Kavasan in the pack pool. Surprising that no one actually tried Lithuanians on this one, by the way, because that's actually a fun save to play on this map with. It's a very snowbally type of gameplay if you play Lithuanians here. But it could be good because you have a lot of extra food at the beginning. Or do you? I'm not sure if you actually get the extra food with Lithuanians in the Red Bull balance. So here we go. We're gonna jump into the next game over here. Nili as Aztecs on the right side in yellow, and left side is going to be the Fat Dragon in red as Franks. Stable opening here with what is a super open base for Vivi. This is a very open base, and it looks like he's gonna go straight to the middle to get some berries for himself. Frankish berry bonus is very sick, so this is actually a very good food income. Just as much as Indians are crazy on maps that are full of shorefish, Franks are crazy on maps that have a lot of berries. Meanwhile, in the middle, I think Nili wants to do a fast castle here. He's going for insane, crazy walls. House. Feels Nili, man. That's gonna be one that villager unless a miracle happens here for Nili. Miracle happens in the form of 2 ladies arriving to help out. So, Nili, I think what he could actually try to go for, this is that's so bad for Nili. He doesn't see the other forest. That's so bad. And sometimes we see Frankish archers. So, this is actually bad walling. If Vivi went for Frankish archers here, there is actually an opening over there. Then this gold mine would be denied. Obviously, Nili doesn't see this wood line, so it's a completely different piece of information we are working with. But at the end of the day, this isn't a very ideal walling for Nili. Loses one villager over there to that hole. He's really trying to get to Castle Age fast here. Like, this is basically how I tried to play when I was playing Red Bull. Just try to wall myself up as fast as possible and try to go for Castle Age. That's still... actually, that's not open anymore. Anyways, Vivi will try to pick some additional villagers off here. Nili should be fully walled. and now he's gonna try to progress towards Castle Age. But what are you gonna do? Like, what you could try doing is maybe you market and sell the stone for Nili, go for triple Barracks Eagles, and if you do that, you could actually control the middle, get the monastery up there, and get the monks to convert the early knights and get the relics. That's something I can think about. The scary part is that Vivi is gonna have a very good food income from the middle, and did I mention that this walling isn't going to be good for Nili? It's not going to be good. Obviously, as I said, he doesn't see this wood line, so without this information, it is reasonable to wall like this. Especially considering that he had to get those walls up fast. But there is another villager dead. That's 2 snipes already by Vivi. Oh, this is looking so bad, but Nili now moves out. Nili now moves out, and this could still be good enough for Nili, because archers and eagles will actually beat scouts and eagles in the majority of the cases. Although it depends, type of a thing. Spearman is missing here for Nili, microing away from the archers for now. The next eagle that comes in could actually finish off these archers and skirm over there. So, Nili, it seems like he's gonna try pushing in the middle, but if you look at the resources for Vivi, it's looking much, much better. He doesn't have to invest into farms, he can just go straight out to the berries and get that insane food income. And also, there is a dock from Vivi over here, something that I don't think that Nili knows about, which would actually give Vivi an untouched food eco. That's so unlucky for Nili, missing out that dock by 2 tiles. We're gonna have some scouts flanking around, not really doing much for now. Nili isn't far away from Castle Age, but neither is Vivi, but this could be huge. Vivi's map is so open, and this could be a massacre. If Vivi loses 5 villagers over here on the gold, and maybe a few on the berries, this could be a disaster for him. This could be a disaster for Vivi, and I think that this is a jackpot for Nili. If Vivi was walled, Nili would be GG here, because he's just gonna get outboomed here. He's probably gonna get an even Castle Age time to his opponent, which is not enough with Aztecs right now. He actually sees the dock now, when he's going out for his own dock, but another villager gets killed, and I think Vivi wants to sneak a tower up. Exactly. Vivi wants to sneak a tower up. This is just part of Vivi's playstyle. Many Chinese players do this. Just drop a tower over here, and even just a single villager, if you can deny the gold, that's already worth it. Anyways, Nili is getting an awful lot of damage done here on Vivi. Vivi lost 5 villagers, make it 6 very soon. But the problem is that Nili also lost 4, so it's not that great, and Nili isn't up yet. Nili isn't up, and the problem is that what are you going to do against the early knights? The Franks will just overrun you with knights if you just go eagles. Nili's gonna have a 30 minutes deficit going into Castle Age here. This is looking bad. This is actually looking pretty bad for Nili. Because the problem with the eagles is that they will get clapped by the knights. And if you want to play it this way, you want to be able to make sure that you beat your opponent into Castle Age with eagles, because then you can actually secure the middle and get some monks out over there, which would help. And you would also have the eagle number advantage. Here, the problem is that the knights will actually have even numbers or comparable numbers to the eagles. So Nili is gonna get his archers back at home, and I think pikemen could be on the mind of Nili. The problem is that there is already an archer range over here for Vivi, and he could actually use that archer range to get some archers or crossbows out and deal with the pikemen. Or, considering he's Franks and he's mining stone already, you could even make an argument for an early castle. One of the things that Franks do really well is capitalize on the early Castle Age advantage and drop a relatively fast castle, and then that would be insanely hard for Nili to push, and the pikemen would also be eaten by throwing axemen. So that's actually a huge thing, I think, for Vivi. I think Nili needs a miracle here. Nili needs a miracle, because his unit composition is going to be way worse than his opponent's unit comp, and it looks like Vivi's gonna have the middle with 5 relics very soon, and looking at Vivi's stone count, he's gonna be able to get a castle for himself relatively soon. He might even buy 100 stone and send 2 more wills to stone to get a castle up. Appears that Vivi is... Did he just sell stone? I think he might have sold some stone. But it doesn't really matter, because if a castle goes up from Vivi, this is pretty much over. Nili's gonna wait with the Eagles until the Eagle Warrior hits. Vivi's gonna have some knights out, +1/+1, and it looks like Nili isn't gonna go for monks at all. Eco numbers are relatively even. Nili's gonna dock up here, but he's unable to push the fishing eco of his opponent. Nili wants the other pawn for himself, and it appears that we had a villager trying to sneak past. This is something I missed out early on. He's not tried to sneak a villager here, and that actually got picked off. But here's the Eagle Warriors, and there isn't really a lot of knights on the field. The Eagles have +1/+1, so does the Knights. +2 defense is coming in here for Vivi right now, but that's a lot of Eagles. And one thing that those Eagles could do is kill a few villagers here, which would suddenly cripple the food eco of Vivi. That's something to pay attention for. Look at this. This is nice moves from Nili. He's dispatching some of the Eagles to try and get some harassment done on those villagers. And if the food eco of Vivi collapses, then he's not going to be able to replenish the Knights, and he's going to get overrun by Eagles. TC is going up here though. That doesn't mean a lot because, well, the Eagles can still run in and kill those villagers. Nili needs attack upgrades on those guys though. And also he's missing Boso, so Nili's gonna have to capitalize on those Eagles super early on. But he has actually experienced that Eagles can be super strong in certain scenarios against Lix. Lix was able to hold with Eagles for so long in that game, but this is exactly the type of fights that Nili is looking for. Is he? No, this isn't enough for Nili. Or is it? Vivi is doing a beautiful job saving those. Look at those. 2 of those knights are very, very weak, and he's saving them. That is insane micro by Vivi, by the way. One of them gets poked down, and many of those low HP knights will survive, and that's huge. That's enormous. But Nili just relentlessly sending in the Eagles. Over here, on this pond, we will have some fish coming in for Nili. The other pond is basically empty in terms of eco. The problem that Nili is going to face, that Knights will just eat Eagles in the long run. So, really, unless Nili is able to kill massive amounts of villas from his opponent, which could be doable, because Vivi's base is wide open, and Nili is getting villager kills left and right. He has killed 16 villagers by now and only lost 9. Nili won't be able to take direct engagements, but maybe he can raid the eco of Vivi to a point where Vivi is just not going to be able to replenish the Knights. So, Monastery coming in here. Nili needs those upgrades desperately. Like, those are just so much needed. But there is Eagles on the wood line. And it looks like we're going to have a couple of villagers killed here as well by Nili, or... Nope. 2 villagers survive. For the time being, we are gonna have some fishing eco here. Let's see if we actually will try to contest that. It's 60 military compared to 11, and that's bad. That's very, very bad for Nili. Like, when you are going Eagles, you have to be like almost 2 times the Eagles than the Knights in order to be able to take good engagements. And if it's even numbers, the Knights will just tap you. And remember that Vivi is gonna have 5 relics. And if that's the case, he's gonna have an insane gold income that compensates for his minor eco deficit here. And also, Nili doesn't have Vabo, so I don't think this is doable for Nili right now. I think the win condition with Aztecs on this map is that you have to have the middle. And Franks will just eat your Eagles here. Nili tried the Frankish play, but Nili tried the Aztec play, but it seems like it's not really going to work out. He doesn't really have the monks to get a lot of conversions in. Like, he has 1 monk with no upgrades. Also worth pointing out that Nili has quite a lot of villager idle time, more TC idle time actually for Vivi, and Nili is trying to sneak a villager through here. Vivi actually spotted this, and well, the skirms are chasing. I wonder what Nili is trying to do here. Maybe he's trying to get a siege workshop or probably a barracks here to get some raiding done. And Nili will try pushing the middle of Fort Barracks is coming in here. You could make an argument for pikemen for Nili, +2 defense. Is just coming in for Nili. Let's see if we have some conversions. 2 knights are converted. Nili is lucky with the RNG over there. That was beautiful for him. And this lady... What is this? What is this lady up to? Or you're trying to outpost rush your opponent? No, this is farm laming. This is farm laming. Nili is taking the farm, right-clicking it, and then deleting it, right? Or I think that's what happened over there. If you actually take away an empty farm from the opponent, you can actually delete it. I have no idea where this lady is going. In the meanwhile, Nili... Where is his army at? Oh, it's here. Look, the gate is open. 57 wheels to 43. It's over. It's really over. Like, you're just not gonna beat knights because the knights will just eat your egos. If you have a lot more egos, maybe you can actually get something done. But unless you have like insane conversions, this is just not gonna work. And this lady is just going to tour the entire map. It's really... Right now it kind of feels like a scout. Nili tried. I don't think that Nili has played the best games he has ever played. I think he played much better against Licks. And, well, Vivi is gonna qualify for the main event over here. Nili's got a random battering ram in here. It's not happening. It's not happening for Nili. As much as he had a massive advantage over Licks by drafting very well, I feel like the strategy advantage was massive on the side of Vivi in this game. The Franks pretty much beating the Aztecs on this map. If you remember the Berbers versus Kuman game, also an advantage. The only game that Nili won was where he had a significant civ lead with Saracens versus Italians. I'm a bit sad. I'm sad because Nili actually had some good moments. It was just... I don't understand the Britons on Arabia type of a civ selection. There were some questionable decisions for Nili, and he's gonna end up losing this one 4-1. Vivi advances to the main event, and with that, we have the second qualifier of the day.